Oh,
Oh, you guys have to get up. Hi, my name is Donna Brooks, and I'm a realtor in Plainfield, Illinois with Baird & Warner Real Estate. I have been a realtor for about 19 years, and I love working with both buyers and sellers as they go through the buying and selling process with their homes. I love working with buyers, especially throughout the various stages, getting them from the time that they start investigating the listings online to the time that we actually can visit the homes, through the contract process, and to the time that we actually close. I will work with buyers at every stage of their life, but I especially love working with first-time home buyers, which was why it was so great to work with Jeff and Bridget. They were just the most wonderful, the sweetest couple ever, and I really, really wanted to work hard to help them realize their dream of buying their first home together. They are a wonderful couple raising an adorable little boy and getting ready to get married this fall. So it was super important to them and to me to help them find just the perfect house for them. They had a bit of a challenge. It was a bit of a rough road for them. The first house that they absolutely fell in love with was an adorable home. It hit every one of their marks. They loved everything about it. Put an offer in, and unfortunately we lost that home in a multiple offer situation. It has been a crazy market in the Plainfield and Naperville areas where we were looking, and unfortunately there were, I believe, 4 other offers on that home at that time. So we took a couple of days off, we regrouped a little bit, we went out to look again, found another amazing home, even better than the first one. We were very excited. We had Bridget's family come out and take a look at it. They all loved it. It was better than anything that we ever thought that they would be able to purchase. Again, checking all of their wish list items. The house was perfect for them. Put another offer in. The offer was accepted. It was a great deal. They were all excited. The sellers were happy. The buyers were happy. At that point, we were working to sell Jeff's home, so that they could indeed purchase this home together. And as it turned out, the contract that we had on the sale of Jeff's home fell apart. That buyer changed his mind and withdrew his offer, which totally devastated Jeff and Bridget, because at that point then we could not proceed with the purchase of their new home. So that one hit hard. It took them a long time to rebound. So we decided the best course of action at that point was maybe to wait just a little bit, make sure we have a solid deal on the sale of Jeff's home, which we eventually did about 2 weeks later. They saw that process through, went off without a hitch, and Jeff and Bridget moved into Jeff's family's home. So that was quite an experience as well. But at least their house had closed, and they were someplace where we could now focus our efforts on being able to have a quick close in the area that they really were looking for. The problem is that at that point the inventory was so low. Jeff and Bridget weren't really looking for anything extraordinary in the house. In fact, they were super realistic with what they were looking for. Jeff wanted a house preferably with a finished basement, so he would have a bit of a man cave. And Bridget, honestly, was looking for a house with a great pantry in her kitchen. She hadn't had that where she was coming from, and that was super important to her. So between those two, it was fairly easy to find what they were looking for. The biggest concern for them, however, was that they wanted to be in a wonderful school district for their little boy. He was a few years away from actually starting school, but we wanted to make sure wherever they landed, they would be comfortable with the school system. So at that point, the inventory was very low. All of the nice houses that were as updated as we could expect in their price range were under contract. And so we looked for a couple of weeks without really being able to find anything that they were even close to falling in love with. We wanted to make sure that they fell in love with the house and that they just didn't settle. So that was important to me as well. So at my recommendation, we expanded our search area a little bit to include homes that were originally not on their radar, but were much more affordable and much more updated and much more in line with what they were looking for. So we spent a couple of days looking at that area in Plainfield and actually came across, I would say, 5 or 6 houses that they liked an awful lot. We had decided we were going to go back and take a second look at the top 4 or 5. And by that point, 2 of their top 4 had already gone under contract, so we didn't revisit those, but we were all set to go out and take a look at their remaining top 2 homes that they loved. I was actually in the shower the morning that we had scheduled to go out and look, and got a text from Bridget. Oh my gosh, she had found this house. It just came up online. I hadn't even seen it yet, and it just listed, and it was everything that they wanted, absolutely everything that they wanted. It was bigger than we thought they would be able to get, more amenities. It was in a great family neighborhood. Bridget was happy with the school system and the school that their son Jake would actually be attending. It was amazingly wonderful. And with my clients, I always know, a little something tells me when there's going to be a connection between my buyers and the home that they like. And I always call it my pick of the day. All of a sudden, this home that we hadn't even seen became my pick of the day for them. And the best of all, it was a phenomenal deal. So we called the agent right away. We arranged for a showing an hour later. So we were kicking the sellers out very quickly. We were the first people in to see the house, and it exceeded their expectations. It was absolutely everything that they would hope they would get at a price point much less than they were hoping they would have to pay for it. Well, knowing our luck with double offers and multiple offer situations, and knowing how the great houses weren't sticking around very long, we knew we had to act fast. So we immediately we wrote an offer. Jeff and Bridget canceled their appointments for the afternoon and submitted what was our highest offer that we could possibly have gone to on the house. What sealed the deal, however, with our sellers was that Jeff wrote this beautiful letter to the homeowners, just telling them a little bit about their situation and about their family and the fact that they are getting married, and how he wanted nothing more in the world than to make Bridget happy and to make a wonderful home for Bridget and Jake and himself. And that really, oh, I have goosebumps. That really hit a chord with the sellers. So as it turns out, the sellers loved that personal touch and accepted our offer. I found out the next day that the sellers had turned down about 30 requests to show the home. They were definitely going to sell the home that day, and we were just honored and blessed that they chose us to work with. So it was quite a ride for Jeff and Bridget. You know, they had definitely the up and down roller coaster over losing a home, actually 2 homes that they had fallen in love with, having to expand their search criteria, having to expand the areas that they wanted to even consider to live in. But in the end, it was all worth it. We found an awesome home. We're hoping to close at the end of August, and they will live happily ever after.